Hello, everyone. Around the world, parents are doing everything right. We choose the best schools, we help with the homework, and we celebrate the A on the report card. But today, I want to ask you all a difficult question. Is academic excellence enough for a world that no longer has a syllabus? We are preparing children for a future that is uncertain, non-linear, and full of problems that don't have a back of the book answer. So today in my presentation, I would like to share how we can move beyond the classrooms to build true resilience in our children. So in this slide, I would like to make a statement in which what I'm saying is academic excellence is the foundation, but not the whole building. Let me be very clear here. Academics matter because they demonstrate discipline and open doors. But academics are the foundation. Think of it like this way. School teaches our children how to use the tools, but life is about deciding what to build when no one has given you the blueprints. We need to help our children move from being instruction followers to problem solvers, right? But in the classroom, the path is paved. What I mean by paved is everything is set by the timetable. It's like a straight line. But look at this diagram. Real world skills like adaptability, something like curiosity or leadership, they branch out in a messy, unpredictable way. So schools cannot teach uncertainty at scale. It's simply schools cannot are not designed for this kind of uncertainty. So that isn't a failure of the school per se. It's the opportunity for us at the home, wherein we can make learning beyond the classroom possible at home or outside the classroom. So it's an opportunity for us to do this. So let me put an example to you, considering it's my own personal example with my son. This is Sai Pranav. His journey didn't start on the TEDx stage, just like as seen in this presentation. It started on a floor, typical like any other kid with a pile of Lego bricks. There was no master plan there. It was just messy, small experiments, putting the bricks together, or things that broke, things that do not move. Every big achievement you see, which I will present to you in the talk, the book that he has written, all started with a small experiment where failing was okay. And as parent, uh, I had to protect this messy face. That is where the failure muscle, I would like to call it as, was built. So we often, treat this confidence is a gift. Confidently presenting on a large stage is a gift, but it's not. It's a habit. Look at the progression here in this slide with my son's, I don't know, a summer camp at the age of 7, followed by the next, a library by talk in the library by age 8. And that's how slowly graduated to a TEDx stage by the age 10. We didn't ask him to be brave. We just made the stage familiar. By the time the stakes were high, time he reached the TEDx stage, the fear of speaking in public had been normalized through repetition. So we need to give our children micro stages long before they face the big ones. Now, this is the cycle of growth. In a school, typically, a fail is the end point, a red mark. However, in the real world, a fail is just a data point. It's an ingredient for the next try. If we want our children to be resilient, we have to stop being their critics. That's what we typically do, right? The moment a child fails, we, being a critic, oh, how did this happen? How did this break? Instead, if you could begin being their audience, we need to celebrate the refined step more than the result. So we typically do that with younger, when the kids are too young, like when they want to just start the walk, and the kid is stumbling before the walk. You would cajole the kid, encourage the kid to walk. But slowly, as the pressure builds up in the school, uh, the homeworks, the classworks, we want to become the child not to fail. We want it to be perfect always. But that's not what the real world is all about. So we need to uh, permit failures, because ultimately what is needed is curiosity towards perfection. Now, let me place before you one such opportunity outside classrooms, is that is competitions. So competitions could be of many types, and many of the parents see them as high stress environments. I completely agree, they are. But I want to reframe that competitions are not about winning, they are about ownership. For example, in school, if a child fails, they might blame the teacher or the test. But in a competition, if the robot in a robot game doesn't move, the child has to own that result. A deadline is a truth teller. It forces them to stop asking, is this right or is that wrong? And start asking, does this work? That shift from permission to performance is life changing. So if you consider competitions, uh, is that that facility or that point wherein the child can start owning the result, it completely shifts the perspective. That's how I would like to place this perspective of competitions. Next, so this this is a book that my son managed to write. Is having a portfolio, right? So we all talk about portfolios for our children, because ultimately when they have to submit their essays for the college, they need to have a body of work. And how do you suddenly have this body of work? So typically what happened with my son was he would write about each of his achievements or about his learnings in a blog consistently every time there was an activity. And since there was so many blogs, it eventually turned into a book which got published just 2 months ago, titled Play to Purpose. It's a 180-page book. So the lesson here is simple. Don't just learn, document your progress. And documenting is not easy. So typically in a school, that is what it is taught that we should be writing the exams. But imagine a child writing a blog beyond the school becomes the body of the essay that he would write for his college. A simple evolution, right? So these extracurriculars that we all see here, typically treated as distractions at a later age in the child. Initially, in the primary or the middle school, we all treat extracurriculars as something which is very important. But as slowly, for example, drama or a debate or uh, singing, so our kids are part of this, or sports are part of all this. But then, as the child grows older, we see this as distractions. But are they really a distractions? Because sports teaches resilience and how to handle defeat. Drama and debate, build clarity and public speaking. And robotics hones logic and problem solving. And arts fosters sustained focus. These are assets that build the human side of a student's profile. The most important part today, which has become the talk of the town, is AI. Now, and why AI? Because the world has become so uncertain, because the progress of technology is the rate of change or the rate of progress is incomprehensible. We are unable to fathom how much change there will be in the next 2 years, 5 years. Earlier, the horizon was a decade or 2 decades for change. Now we are talking about a rapid rate of change within a year's time. Considering such a rapid rate of change, we are uncertain what would be the next uh, job sector where will we find the next job, because they're finding answers faster than any human can. But can AI replace curiosity? Can it exercise judgment? Of course, it cannot demonstrate leadership. So technical skills that build the tool, but human skills that we require, as we discussed today, are the ones learned beyond the classrooms. So determining how that tool is used is most important here. The tool here being AI. So we aren't just building smart kids. We have to go beyond that and build wise leaders, right? So because AI cannot replace curiosity or exercise judgment on your behalf, neither can it demonstrate leadership. It can just be a follower. So this is how, despite AI looming so large on us, by being enhancing learning beyond classroom, we can surmount the challenge of AI. So let's come to this formula that I've tried to put after whatever we have listened to in the past few slides. Is academics, of course, that's the most important part. But to that, if we can add the experiments, the small, messy experiments that we can do inside a classroom, outside the classroom, at home, plus some kind of a public practice of speaking in public, because that's what builds confidence, right? Leads to open doors. So if we have these three components in a child's way of learning, many doors would open. And I think this is the formula for a resilient future. It's not about creating geniuses, it's about creating children who are comfortable with uncertainty. And uncertainty is something that we are all fearing today because of the AI, right? But if we can build our children who are comfortable with this kind of uncertainty, certainly we could rest assured that our children will somewhere be placed well in their lives. So thank you for your time, and I like to look forward to seeing some kind of messy experiments in your child's life. Thank you.
There is always an opportunity to contribute to the discussions that we have at EnviroCast GEO. If you are interested in attending or even speaking at a future conference, learn more at geo.envirocast.org. We're excited to hear your insights.